As more and more Africans sign up to support this novel notion, a viral petition is gathering enormous traction. But is this really possible? And why is Traore such a leader of revolution? Let's get started. The first petition in support of President Traore was launched in October. Traore received support for both his vision for Burkina Faso and his vision for a united and decolonized Africa. The petition states that we, the undersigned, are an international community of Africans and members of the African diaspora who are all resolutely committed to the vision of an independent, united, and colonially free Africa. At this critical juncture in our shared history, we are inspired by President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, whose bold vision and unwavering dedication have rekindled hope for the future of not only Burkina Faso, but the entire African continent and its people around the world. For thousands of years, Africa and its diaspora have been afflicted by the devastation caused by colonization, exploitation, and empire. These external forces have disrupted the cultural, political, and economic independence of African countries in addition to dividing our lands and resources. Even after claiming formal independence, neo-colonial forces and international imperialist institutions continue to shape the political and economic realities of many African countries, which affects Africans living abroad. Amid this ongoing turmoil, Burkina Faso has emerged as a beacon of hope under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore. His efforts to combat imperialism's aftereffects, defend Burkina Faso's sovereignty, and advance African unification are bold moves toward the downfall of these oppressive systems. His efforts are consistent with the broader Pan-African vision of leaders like Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, and Kwame Nkrumah, who all fought for a unified Africa free from foreign interference and a global African society founded on solidarity. We stand with President Traore because we know that his struggle is our fight. The greater African and diasporic struggle for true independence and self-determination is reflected in Burkina Faso's resistance to neo-colonial influence. His leadership has served as a powerful example of bravery and resistance for Burkina Faso citizens, as well as for Africans and people of African descent around the world. To President Ibrahim Traore, the undersigned extends our heartfelt support. We pledge to assist him in his efforts to establish Burkina Faso and, by extension, Africa free from neo-colonial control, economically independent, and consciously united. We call on all Africans, people of African origin, and advocates of African liberation around the world to support Ibrahim Traore's leadership, reject imperialism and neo-colonialism, and promote Pan-African solidarity and diaspora unity by signing this petition. Africans are now advocating for the idea of a one Africa, one government, and one currency. The idea of one Africa is not new. A United States of Africa was once advocated by Muammar Gaddafi, Kwame Nkrumah, and Thomas Sankara. Gaddafi was even ready to launch a single Pan-African currency based on the Libyan gold dinar, since he had accumulated 143 tons of gold over the years. But he was tragically fired by the U.S. President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton administrations. Now, the idea of a single Africa has been dropped. Many people view Traore's leadership as a challenge to the status quo, since it would deny them the power and influence they have accumulated in their countries. These corrupt politicians surely do not want the idea of a single Africa. Muammar Gaddafi experienced just that. To unite them under one presidency, significant constitutional and diplomatic reform would be required. Each of these 54 sovereign nations is home to a variety of tribes, each with its own distinct traditions and beliefs. In fact, it is true that civil wars across the continent are a direct result of several tribes banding together